from the viewpoint of the political economy, what this government has been successful in doing is converting access to basics from a privilege to a right. Well, while earlier governments, they used to dispense this access as a favor, this government has made it a right. So even if a new government comes to power, it will have to match this standard that has now been set. And from the angle of the political economy, this government has drastically shifted the set of expectations that voters now have. And the Overton window or the spectrum of politically feasible policies has now been moved in a positive direction. That, I think, is a big shift.
So, these stakeholders, that new stakeholders, as it were, now we have seen they're paying political dividends, like you have also flagged. So, is this the reason that this government has been very, blunt upfront about being pro-business? So it's able to carry the strategy of pro-poor, pro-business, and as opposed to the reforms of stealth in the past. This is like a reforms of conviction that this government is undertaking.
Well, that's a very pertinent question, and I think there are several layers to it. The first layer is the idea of populism versus welfare. And here, unfortunately, I must say we have this tendency to react in an irrational fashion. An extreme right will term all redistribution as populism, and extreme left will brand all redistribution as welfare. But that is not the right way of looking at it, and the difference between populism and welfare depends on targeting, feasibility, productivity, and execution of the redistribution scheme. So, well, let us look at targeting first. So when a scheme is targeted precisely at the neediest part of the population, it becomes an instrument of welfare. So Ujjwala's scheme is a classic example of welfare because it is targeted at the neediest segment of the population. Well, on the other hand, we have something like free bus rides for women in Karnataka. It is a classic example of populism because it is not targeted at those who need it the most. I mean, any woman, irrespective of whether she needs a free bus ride or not, can avail it. Well, same is also true with free electricity in New Delhi. Now, coming to the second point of feasibility, to the credit of this government, all redistribution schemes, they have been designed in scale and scope in a fiscally sustainable manner. Well, this is classic welfarism. On the other hand, you have the election promises of the Karnataka government of free electricity, free rations, financial assistance for women and youth, etc. I mean, they need 60,000 crores for this annually. And you see, a lot of these schemes, they are not targeted very well. This is simply vote-catching populism. The third point is economic productivity. Now, schemes that enhance economic productivity, they are welfare. Typical example is Ayushman Bharat. It provides health insurance coverage to vulnerable parts of the population and it improves economic productivity. On the other hand of the spectrum, you have the OPS of the Himachal government. It does nothing for economic productivity, has huge additional burden, and it is a classic example of vote-catching populism again. Lastly, let us look at the execution of redistribution scheme and let us take example of Narega. Well, during previous government, it was extremely wasteful with tons of fake accounts drawing Narega wages. Again, populism. But this government has been able to link it with Aadhaar and plug these leakages, and now it is a welfare tool. So yes, I agree with you that PM Modi is able to carry everyone along with him with minimal friction because he is pro-welfare and not a populist.